Right, good afternoon everyone. I have a very special guest with me today. It's Paul White from Becker. So I'd like to introduce Paul. Paul, who are you? Who's Becker? How long have you been in the industry?
Well, Becker Motors has been in the UK now for 27 years. Primarily we're a German company. We're based in Sin, in the city in Sin, as they say in Germany. And we've got a global presence pretty much all around the world. The actual company in Germany started around in 1921, so it's been going for quite a long time. But like I say, in the UK we've been in for about 27 years. We specialise in motorised rollers, tubular motors for things like Roman blinds, roller blinds, and also we do a lot with electric curtain tracks and curtain poles.
Okay, that's cool. So do you only supply motors, or do you actually supply any made-up products to the trade?
We do. I mean, for the Roman blinds, we do we use the 35mm tubular motor, and we put that in a 50mm headrail. It can be seem a bit bulky unless you go inside a recess, but the advantage of that is we can do blinds up to just the hardware. We can do blinds up to 4 metres wide and 4 metre drops.
So massive,
heavy, absolutely, yeah.
Lift sort of operations. That's
yeah.
Good to know. Do you curtain tracks as well? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we do. We do a whole range of curtain tracks. We've got the a universal range, a little bit similar to this motor that we'll be talking about later, and battery tracks as well, and curtain poles.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Curtain tracks. Paul's your man. I'm sure is there a website that you've got the stuff on? Or?
Yeah, well, we do. We have got two websites to showcase all the products that we do. One is the Becker website, so that's Becker Motors. .co.uk, and the second one's Raex Motors, that's RAEX Motors.co.uk.
Okay, lovely. So what are we looking at today then, Paul? We have this rather lovely blue blind here.
Yeah, well this is the new what we call the TP35 Universal Motor. It's called a universal motor because it can be controlled by radio control, but it's also a 4-wire motor, so you can switch between lines 230 volts. So it's a good all-rounder really. I mean, if you've got that motor on your shelf, in theory you don't really need another motor.
Right, so I presume it can be either controlled by a remote or controlled by a switch? Or,
yeah, that's right, yeah.
Or both?
Yeah, both at the same time.
At the same time. So that's quite impressive. Is there any reason why you'd want that?
Yeah, well, we do get scenarios more often, and you probably have the same, David, and some of your customers, that you spec a particular job, say 4-wire, you get there and you'll find that maybe there's only 3 wires there, or you don't need they get the electrician on site. They may have put the wrong wiring in, cabling for that sort of thing. So you pretty much, with this universal motor, you're covered pretty much most scenarios.
That's pretty good going. I suppose it also means that if the control system goes up the duff, I don't think that's the right word for it, you've got your backup.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. We find, I was saying earlier that we've got a customer that they prefer, they were asked actually yesterday, they were asked, is there a motor out there that is radio controlled and it's 4-wire switching? And he didn't know about this motor because it's brand new to the market. And general consensus, I've had this as well, where the AV guys, to them, it's important if a system falls over that they've got a remote control backup. So the customer, the end user if you like, has always got the ability to control the blinds.
So they're not going to be, system goes down or whatever, they're not going to be stuck overnight not being able to control their blinds because they've got a backup. Well, that's pretty useful. So what other aspects are there to the motor? So it's like you say, it can be radio, it can be direct switching, or both.
Yeah.
What are the other features of the motor?
Well, it's got a soft start, soft stop, which is becoming ever popular these days. It's quite a nice little feature actually. It just gives it that nice touch. Also, this is the remote control. You've also got here, you've got your down, your stop, and your up button, but you've also got these are the 3 buttons. Okay. So what happens is, and we can demonstrate it later, but when you set your top and your bottom position, then all of a sudden the software in the motor does a calculation where it calculates these in thirds, so there's 3 presets. So you can press the first one, let's say, it'll drop the blind by a third. You don't have to program this, it does it itself automatically.
So if it's a 2 metre drop or whether it's a 1500, whatever, it will automatically work that out.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's right. So it comes down in thirds. If you want to tweak that, you can actually change them presets.
Okay, I was going to say, because if you've got a scenario where you've got, say, a run of windows, double door, and another run of windows, if you've got a 2.2 metre drop on your door and you've got a 1500 drop on your windows, your presets are going to be in different positions.
Yeah.
So you can adjust that then, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in some cases, it'll be also useful on things like vision blinds and zebra blinds, where you get the open close-up positions on them.
Okay, so not just rollers, they can also do visions as well.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So we've got soft start, soft stop, adjustable limits. Is it noisy? Is it a quiet motor?
It's a quiet motor actually. There's I mean the original version of this was quiet, but they've changed the gearbox and the tolerance. And like I say, when we fire it up, you'll be able to hear how quiet it actually is.
Yeah, well, bear in mind as well, folks, this is on a hollow wooden thing with metal brackets, so it's probably going to be noisier than it actually would be if it was fitted into a reveal. But yeah, I mean, so what now? How do we program it? Where do we go from there?
Well, okay, what we'll do is, first thing we're going to do is pair up the handset. So you do that on this handset. There's a program button, it's in the back. You can use a little pin like you do on most systems, but on this one you can also just use your thumbnail on there. There's a little program button in the back. So what we do is, every time you do a command with the motor, it'll beep at you, and so it lets you. It gives you like a little beep, and it's just a nod to say yes, I've received the command. So we'll put it in programming mode, so or pairing mode. The way to do this is you press this red button on the head of the motor for approximately 3 seconds, and there we go. And then it'll continuously beep to say, right, I'm ready to learn a handset. Or it might not.
Yeah,
That's okay, so I've got my hand up that properly. There we go. I wasn't pressing it properly, folks. There we go.
there we go.
So now that we press the program button on the back of the handset, now it'll start to blink, as we call it, and then you press the program button again, and it's off. So now I've got control of my blind.
Okay, that's easy enough then. So program button, hold that for 3 seconds, it'll start to beep.
Yeah.
Program button on the remote.
Yeah.
Do you have to hold that, or is it just a quick press?
Yeah, no, you press it, you hold it until you get that blinking sound.
Okay, yeah, and then you press that and it stops.
And then it's done, the blinking stops, yeah. Okay, so the next thing to do is to set the limit. So how we do that is it's a combination of 2 buttons. We're going to set the top limit, so we put the top direction, and then again the program button on the back of the handset. So I'll do that first. So we'll press the program button, hold, press the up direction button. So the motor's now saying, okay, I'm in learning mode, it's in a continuous beep. And then to lock it in, you can actually fine tune it in this position if you're not happy with where the position is. Or you can use these buttons to inch it up or down, just by a couple of mil.
Oh,
So yeah, so we're happy with that. So now what we do is we press the program button again. And that position's locked in.
so that's our top limit set.
Yeah. So now we drive it to where we want it at the bottom position. It's in, most motors do this, it's in what they call dead man's mode now.
You just got to hold it to get it to where you want it.
It's a safety feature of all tube. It actually comes from roller shutter motors. The idea was that a motor could come down and clock somebody on the head unless the limit had been set.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the same procedure, but this time because it's the down position, we press the program button on the back and the down button.
Okay, this all seems pretty easy to me.
So again, we get the continuous beep to say, right, it's in learning mode. And now what we do is we press the program button again and hold. The motor's giving us a nod. And then final blink to say it's recorded.
So if you're on a noisy site, you can't miss them bleeps.
No, that's right, yeah. It's, I mean, those the beeps only happen through programming. You never hear it any other time. And so now, yeah, I mean, so that's your up and down. We've also got, what we mentioned earlier, these presets. So where you can press that, you hold it. I haven't programmed this, obviously, you've seen. It'll automatically go to approximately 30. It's hard to tell on a blind this size. It's better on a bigger blind, you get a better feel for it. Yeah. And the soft stop doesn't really show as well on a blind that size, but you do get the idea. We'll go to the just over 2/3 position. But again, you can adjust these or the final position. Or fully closed.
It's quite a nice remote that as well.
Yeah, it's a 6-channel remote, this one. It's when you go through it, you can see the digits light up.
Nice and clear, yeah.
So you can see. So you can have up to, well, 6 blinds.
So is that 6 individual channels, or is one of those a group channel, or
no,
can they all be group channels?
Yeah, that's right. They're all individual channels, but we do it that way on all of our remotes because you can have a group channel, so you can have 5 blinds in a group channel. But in some scenarios, it's just to give that flexibility. You might want 6 channels.
Well, yeah, I mean, you may want, let's say you've got one remote downstairs that generally controls your whole of downstairs. You could have, say, 3 blinds in your kitchen on channel 1. Yeah. Lounge on channel 2. Might be a couple of blinds on that, so you can just press it, and then all of them to 6.
Yeah.
Is there a limit to how many motors we can program to a channel?
Yeah, there is, and it's a bit of a grey area really. People will give you various figures, but the truth is it's an unknown. We've had them up to 10 on one channel,
okay.
But I personally would recommend 5. I wouldn't really go more than 6, and the reason being is radio signal, it could be sucked basically out of the air. Yeah. So what the problem can be when you go above that sort of number is that one motor might miss. Like in the conservatory, let's say you've got, I don't know, 8 windows, you could hit the group button. And if it's just like on one single channel, and what can happen is that maybe a couple of the blinds are missed, so you've got to press it again. So I would recommend, unless you have got a group channel set up, on some of the range that we do, we have dedicated group channels which sends out signal of all the channels.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I've been in various situations where I've gone, oh yes, and I've got them all programmed to the group channel, and one of them the one behind me isn't moving.
Yeah.
And the customer's like, well, you missed one. Press it again. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's it really. It's well, we showed you the remote control. It's not it actually. We've shown the remote control, but what I haven't showed.
So you've got this. There we go.
Right, so
we're connected to a switch as well.
Yeah, it's connected to a switch, which is your 4-wire switch. So this simulates either a hardwired switch, or if it was to a Luxome system or Lutron, Crestron, those sort of things. So basically, all we're doing now is switching live. And obviously, I've got to keep my finger pressed because that would simulate the relay on the smart system, and the same to go up.
So if they've got a rocker switch that locks on the up, it's not just going to continue going, it will just stop on your preset.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So they could, because a lot of these systems, what they tend to do is they'll time the blind, and let's say the blind takes a minute to go to its full length. They might put on a minute 30 seconds or something like that.
Overrun it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, and it used to be that it was a standard 3 minutes that they put on them. So, what happens with this motor is you could apply power to that, to be honest, you could have power to that all day long. And it won't go past its limits.
Okay, that's good news. So you offer training as well, do you?
Yeah, we do. On all our products, we've got a training facility in Burton-on-Trent where we're based. It's pretty central in the country. And we go through it all. We go through the wiring, technical aspects. Well, you know, Dave, you've been to see us.
I have indeed.
And so we can tailor it to the particular customer's needs. If it's trained on a particular motor or range of motors, we can do that. If it's just an all-round home automation sort of thing, we can do that as well.
Okay. I know your tech support guys are pretty good as well, so I've sent some interesting scenarios over, and I always get an answer whether it can or can't be done. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty good as well. What else do we need to cover here? We've adjusted our limits. We've paired the remote. We've set our limits. We've discussed how the presets work. Did we cover adjusting the presets?
No, we mentioned that it could be done, but we didn't actually do it. And what we could do is to really demonstrate this. The first button actually goes Oh, sorry, we'll keep it pressed until it starts to blink. There we go. So it would stop there. I mean, if that was 3 metres, it would probably stop at a metre drop. Now what we can do is, you saw the button I pressed, we can drive that down, further down there.
Yeah.
Let's say there. So it's near the bottom now. And what you do to change that, it's really easy. Again, it's a combination of pressing the program button on the back, there, and then the button, the preset that you're actually trying to adjust. So what I'll do is I'll press that and the preset, keep it held until you get the response from the motor and the nod, and that's it. So I'll take it to the bottom. Take it to the top.
So essentially, anything you're doing with the limits on this motor is you're just holding the program button and pressing the relevant button.
That's
it.
That's
you
it.
Just press and hold it, and then that's.
Yeah, that's it. Anything that you do with these, which is really good, is it's all done low level. So if you set your blind up, it's all hand set, it's all low level. It's quite easy to achieve. And then just to sort of confirm that, press that, hold it. Originally it was about here, but now we've changed the preset to be further down.
Happy days. Well, that all seems very, 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 very simple. So what's the catch?
There is no catch.
No? Well, there you go.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. That's what we like to hear. Right, okay, so then I guess just the last things we need to cover about this, really. It's a tubular motor, it's 35 mil?
Yeah.
It's 35 mil. What tubes does that go into?
So it goes into 40 mil smooth, because it's 35 mil, we can't put it in slotted 40, sadly. And so it goes into 40 mil smooth. It goes into meter 43 and 49. It goes into, we do our own 45 mil tube, which is very similar to the Louverlite tube, except there's one slot instead of 3, so we can get the motor in. But apart from that, it works with the Louverlite tables. And then after that, you've got Louverlite 55 tube that it works with, and Bentham 52.
Okay. Well, we use the Louverlite tubes. We'll also use the 40 mil smooth, so we'll go with that one. This motor will be available to order on our online ordering system by the end of today, so that's good. So as far as technical aspects of the motor, what voltage is it, wattage, ampage, and what sort of torque are we talking about?
Well, yeah, absolutely, Dave. It's a 230 volt motor, AC motor, so mains powered. So yeah, it's the requirement is it's just 0.45 of an amp. Okay. That's the what the operating amperage. But what you guys, and I'm sure your customers will know as well, that whenever you put a fuse to a motor, you double that, because you get what they call an inrush current. So I would say, if you put a fuse spur in, it's like usually 1 amp per motor or something, or the same with the relays.
So if you've got 5 motors, you'd want to use 10 amp, basically.
No. If you've got 5 motors, it would be 5 amp. Yeah, you've got
because it's 0.4.
0.4, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
And then it's a 3 newton meter motor, so it's got a torque of, which is about, I mean, it depends on the various tube systems, but you're okay for about 8 kilograms.
Okay, that's a pretty hefty blind, that. So, and that's the weight of the fabric we're talking about. They're not including the weight of the motors and everything.
No, that's right. It's just the bottom bar and the fabric. That's right.
So yeah, that's a pretty hefty blind. So that'd be what, 3 by 4 meters roughly.
I guess depending on whatever the fabric.
Sort of not blackout fabric, something like this.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, is there anything else that you can think of that we may want to know about this lovely motor?
No, like I say, we do put it in motorised rollers. It's designed specifically for a roller if that's necessary, if required, and it goes into the Roman blind system. So
it's a universal motor. It does exactly that. You can control it with your main switching. You can control it with your remote control. It's very quiet, as I'm sure you probably heard or didn't hear. More to the point. That's a nice motor. Thanks for showing it to us.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
No problem. Well, there you go, everyone. Becker Motors. It's available now. Thank you for your time.